just a tough game from the start to the finish. The Knicks did not show up tonight. They got out hustled. They got out rebounded. They got outscored. Everything that could go right for the Pacers went right. There's a couple fouls that I thought the Knicks got kind of shafted on. The Pacers, the refs were kind of soft tonight, right? At least in the Pacers' favor. But to the Knicks, they didn't give them anything. The refs didn't give the Knicks really anything tonight. But at the same time, that is nowhere near the reason that the Knicks lost. The Knicks lost simply because they got out rebounded. And yeah, on the offensive board, when you look at the numbers today, 14 offensive rebounds from the Pacers, 13 offensive rebounds from the Knicks. But now we got out rebounded in game one. The Knicks got out rebounded in game one. But you know what they did? They kept it close. They kept it freaking close. And you know how they did that? They made defensive rebounds. The Knicks got out rebounded today, 47-35. Now, yeah, only one less offensive rebound, but in general, on the defensive boards, the Pacers freaking dominated. And yes, that one extra offensive rebound didn't mean much at the end of the day when the Pacers get a 13-point victory. And really, the Pacers had control after the first quarter, the Pacers had control. 32-21 in the second, 27-24 in the third. And that's really only because of Jalen Brunson. Everybody else looked shot. And then 28-28 in the fourth. But realistically, those were garbage time points that got us to tie that fourth quarter overall. The Knicks lost simply because of three things. They let the Pacers push the pace. They let the Pacers get defensive rebounds. And another thing, nobody outside of Jalen Brunson showed up. And yes, Deuce, he had a good game, 17 points, 6 of 14, but he was a minus 17. I mean, Deuce had 20 points, actually. My bad. DiVincenzo had 17 points. Hartenstein, only 7 rebounds. 7 rebounds. And yeah, I get it. You are basically our only big man because I don't think any Knick fan wants to see Jericho Sims on the court this series. Nobody does. The fact that he was on the court to end this game made me want to lose my mind. And the fact that I watched this game till the end made me lose my mind. It felt like I was getting stabbed in the chest because really, I know Deuce scored 20. I know Devo put up 17, but it just didn't look like anybody besides Brunson in the second half wanted to win this game. And especially the guy who only had 7 rebounds, especially the guy who I just wrote an article about saying that the Knicks better pay him this offseason because he means so much to this team because of the little things that he does. But you know the little things that he did today? He put up little numbers. 7 freaking rebounds. 7 rebounds. God damn, I miss Mitchell Robinson. I really freaking do. And I love Precious Achiuwa. Don't get me wrong, but Precious Achiuwa, when you have Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam, you need more than Isaiah Hartenstein and Precious Achiuwa. So there's literally a part of me that is going to be panicking all Sunday. And the fact that it's at 3:30 kind of makes it even worse because if the Knicks lose, it ruins my Sunday. This already ruined my Friday night, ruined my Saturday night. It's going to ruin everything up till Sunday at 3:30. If the Knicks win, yes, I'm going to go nuts. But if the Knicks lose, it's going to be a heartbreaker. And this is like what's getting me right now because I want the Knicks to win. I know the Knicks can win, even though they're shorthanded. But that's the same thing. The Knicks are missing OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, and they still got to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals. That's crazy. And it is insane. But at the same time, we are still better than the Indiana Pacers. We should beat the Indiana Pacers. And I think we will. I really do think we will. And it's insane because, sometimes I feel like home court advantage is very overhyped in a lot of sports, right? I mean, just being as a Mets fan, I was at Game 3 of the wild card in 2022 when the Mets won 100 games for the first time since, 1980s? It was one empty. So home, and DeGrom was on the mound too. So you got a guy who in 2016, 2017, and 2018, the only reason people went to Mets games was to see Jacob DeGrom. This guy's on the mound in a winner-go-home game in Citi Field. No one showed up. Home field advantage meant, I'm going to curse right now, meant shit to them. Meant shit to them. The Jets, I mean, realistically, home field advantage don't mean shit to them either. Don't mean shit to the Giants. Really, it's just the Rangers and the Knicks. There's something about Madison Square Garden. And the only reason the Knicks have a freaking chance is not because of anybody except Jim Dolan for owning Madison Square Garden. So thank you. Thank you so much for owning the best arena in sports, probably the best arena in the world. And I don't even really think it's the arena. Part of it is the arena, but I think it's the fans. I really, and it's going to sound so freaking corny, but I think the Knicks are going to win game 7 because of the fans, because of how loud it gets and how young the Pacers are. I mean, we saw it in the second half of game 6. I mean, if you really paid attention to the start of the second half, Madison Square Garden was freaking empty. For some reason, the fans were trying to get back to their seats and they weren't there on time. And Miles Turner hits 3 threes in a row. Somehow it's 9-0. I mean, a 9-point lead. And then next thing you know, Garden seats still fill back up. They start filling back up. Knicks go on a run and they take off and they blow out the Pacers. So I really think the fans are going to play a big role. And luckily, we have the best fans in the world. But let's go over my keys to game 7. I'm sick of even talking about game 6. I mean, seriously, congratulations to freaking Deuce for scoring a 20-point game in the playoffs. Like, that is pretty cool. Shooting 8 of 12 from the field. I think we're going to need him big time in game 7 going forward. Really, I mean, I was knocking Devo too and McBride, but at the end of the day, McBride and Devo did play good. Outside of Brunson, Devo, and McBride, everybody else freaking sucked, especially Hartenstein, man. 1 of 3 from the field, 7 boards, 0 blocks. And then even Josh Hart, dude, only 8 boards. Like, we simply got out-rebounded. Like I said before, we got out-rebounded today, 47-35, 12 more boards. Offensive rebounds, yeah, we were 1 away. But at the end of the day, they had the better pace. They had the better board. They had more boards than us. They were more physical than us. Did they get some good calls on their side from the refs? Of course, but that's not the reason they lost. I mean, that's not the reason they won. The reason the Pacers won today was because 12 more rebounds than the Knicks. And then also second chance points. This is another thing that gets me really going about the rebounds. Because on the offensive end, yes, we were getting boards. But on the defensive end, we gave up second chance opportunities way too many times. And when you do that against the Pacers, because one thing that the Knicks were doing well tonight is they were forcing bad shots on the first shot, like of the possession. Like even in the second half when we were out of it, the Knicks were doing a great job of forcing bad threes. And I thought it was a great freaking game plan. But the only issue with that game plan was nobody on the defensive side for the orange and blue decided to try to get a rebound. I don't know why. I really don't. But the Knicks did not want to try to rebound on the defensive end. And it was a great game plan by Thibodeau, and I don't want to knock Thibodeau because I think Thibodeau did a great job tonight. I really do. Like, the Knicks did really well at forcing bad threes because the Pacers suck at shooting threes. They're really good at pushing the pace, getting in the paint. They did a good job at forcing the ball. They were trying to get to the paint, and a lot of stupid kickouts, stupid threes. I mean, when Obi Toppin shooting threes, we love that. We love that. That air ball 3, it was like, it got me going, even though we were down. I saw the idea. I saw the game plan, and I thought it could work, but it didn't work because the Knicks were not getting big on the boards on the defensive side. So that leads me into my first key. Keep forcing back. Keep forcing bad threes. I don't know what happened there. So, yes, the Knicks have to keep forcing bad 3-point shots. Because the thing is, they do a good job. They did a really good job tonight at forcing those shots. But like I said before, when you're not getting defensive rebounds, it doesn't freaking matter. So that's my second key, and that's defensive rebounding. If the Knicks actually get on the defensive end of the boards, then on the boards on the defensive end, they will win. They will win. Because when you look at the past games, like I even said, in game one, they got out rebounded on the offensive end, just like we did tonight. But you know what they did well? They played freaking defense. So that's a huge point. It's simple as hell. Defensive rebounding, that's what they teach in freaking CYO. But the Knicks tonight, they did not get defensive freaking rebounds. So that's a key. That is a key. And then pace. You gotta control the pace. Now, I put pace there, and I wanted to confuse some of you because I feel like some of you are going to think like pace. Oh, yeah, fast pace. No, slow pace. Because that's what the Knicks are. That's when the Knicks are good, when they control the pace of the game. That's when they win. When Jalen Brunson has the ball in his hand and he's actually on like he was in the second half, we're good. We're good. And I think a lot of people can make a case that if Jalen Brunson actually showed up in the first half, the Knicks would have won. And there's no knock on Brunson. He could have had an off night. And he had an off night and scored 31 points. Like, goddamn, that player is good. So, like, wow. Brunson is actually insane. Insane. And he's also my fourth key. And I think it's obvious. I didn't even want to list him. But I think pace is a big reason because it kind of involves Brunson because when Brunson has the ball, he controls the pace of the game. And even you saw it in the second half. The Knicks suck at pushing the ball. I don't want to see him push the ball. Yeah, Josh Hart, he can go coast to coast, but that's about it. And maybe Deuce, but that's about it. Knicks, they're not a fast-paced team, but when they control the pace, that's when they are on top. And even though we're missing Randall, even though we're missing OG Anunoby, even though we're missing Mitch, this team somehow, at least I think, maybe I'm biased, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm stupid, but I still think they're the better team. I still think they're the better team. At some points in the fourth quarter, I thought the Knicks could make a comeback. They just couldn't get on the defensive boards. That's really what lost them this game, and it was that simple. But listen, I think the last key to Game 7, and I talk about it with all my guys all the time. Even my guys mention it too. It's crazy that we expect Jalen Brunson to score 40 points, 45 points. Hell, I would love a 50-point game out of him. But we need Brunson's best game. Like, it's that simple. I was going to say we need a huge game. No, we need his best game. If Jalen Brunson has his best game of the series in Game 7, the Knicks will get to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since the 99 to 2000 season. That simple. Brunson shows up. Brunson has the best game he's had all postseason. Knicks go to the ECF. I'm pumped for it. It's going to be stressful. Probably do a pod Sunday night because, Sunday night, yes, I will do a pod Sunday night after the game. But also probably going to do one Sunday because I do want to talk some baseball. Judge, I said it all along, man. He's going to start to heat up, and he is heating up. He's back to being the best hitter in baseball. That simple. And, I also do want to talk some Mets. I want to talk about Edwin Diaz struggling a little bit. And, of course, I do want to talk some Rangers. So I'm going to – maybe I'll hit up my boy Frankie. If Frankie, you watching, you're coming on Sunday, we're going to talk some Rangers. And if the Knicks lose, I'll be sad. I'll be sad because I really do expect them to win. I really do. I was actually going into this podcast, I was thinking about being like, you know what? Nah. Like, I'm nervous. I really am. Like, the Pacers, they could easily win. It's win or go home. It's win or go home. So we will see what the Knicks are made of. But goddamn, man. Goddamn. I mean, without Randall, without Anunoby, without Mitch now. I mean, Bogdanovich, we could use him from the arc. We're missing a lot of freaking guys. And even Brunson is hurt. And the Knicks have done way too much to get to game 7, 1 game away. 1 game away from facing the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. And we are at the Garden. We are at the Garden. I wouldn't want the Knicks at any other place. And you know what? Now that I mentioned the Celtics, another big reason why I do really want to get this win. I think every Knicks fan, this is a dumb statement. Everybody wants to get a win. But like really deep down, I think the Knicks have a shot if they get past the Pacers. If they do, I think the Knicks are a better matchup against the Celtics than the Pacers. I think the Knicks could beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. I would expect the Celtics to win, but I would not be shocked if the Knicks pull it off, even when they're limited. So that's why I really want to see the Knicks win. Because I don't think their ceiling is as low as the national media thinks. I think the Knicks' ceiling is much higher. But that ceiling will collapse if they lose Sunday. And if they played like they did tonight, if they get out-rebounded 40, what was it? Let's look at it again, because 47-35, they get out-rebounded that much. I mean, and also the Pacers, 35 assists, Knicks, 20 assists. Pacers had 8 blocks, Knicks had 5 blocks. Points in the paint, 62 from the Pacers, 38. So, yeah, that's about it. Knicks, you want to win, play your game. Pace the ball, control the pace. We have a slow pace because, quite frankly, we have veterans. We have veterans. Really, outside of Miles McBride, we have a bunch of veterans. And we got Jalen Brunson, and he's a beast when he controls the pace. So pace, Jalen Brunson, that's another key, obviously. We need the best game he's had all postseason. Defensive rebounding. I'd say offensive rebounding, but at the same time, I saw us in game 1 where we got out-rebounded on the offensive end. But in the final minutes, you know what we did? We out-rebounded them. In the last 3 minutes, Knicks had more offensive rebounds. So we can win getting out-rebounded on the offensive end. But you know what we can't do? We can't let up second chance points. We can't let the Pacers do what we do best. And that's make offensive rebounds and get the ball to Jalen Brunson. Because that's about it. I think Stan Van Gundy, I said it a few episodes ago, Stan Van Gundy during the Sixers series, he said it best. The Knicks, what are they? Offensive rebounding and Jalen Brunson. I'll see you Sunday. Let's go Knicks. 3:30 at the Garden. Let's get it done. Because I want Boston.